In this video, we are going to tackle probably the hardest element for this exercise, which is the curved cut. So I'm going to take on this right hand extension, and on the top face of this, you can make whatever curve you want to. You can make it like an arc or a sweep. But I am going to do on the top face of this, I'm going to create a curve. So I will actually create a curve that starts fairly sharply, but then rounds out and then actually cuts back towards that edge. So it's kind of like this compound curve. It's not just a simple curve. So in order to take this cut out, the piece that's on the edge, I'm going to drop down from this front edge because I know that that's where that cut will be on the vertical. And all these parts that I'm kind of marking with an X, this part is going to come out and we're going to remove that. So I have that vertical, and now on this line, I'm going to plot some points. So you can imagine this is a string, and these are little dots that connect this line. Now you can do an infinite number of dots along that line, but I'm going to choose, I'm going to choose about 5 points, not counting the beginning point and the end point. Now I will say you want to draw these lines extremely lightly. So back off on the pressure. And what I'm doing is from each one of those points, I'm bringing that 30-degree down to where it connects with the edge of that original extension. Then from each one of these points, as it hits that, I'm going to drop that line down. So on each one of these, and again, keep it very, very light. You don't want this to overpower. You just want to know where these lines connect. Okay, so this one comes down, this one comes over and down. The one that is on the edge goes straight. This one I did incorrectly. I need to come down from that point. So what we're doing here is we're trying to figure out where that bottom line is going to be, and it's a wraparound. So I need to find, you're basically making a rectangle. So from this bottom point, from these bottom points, I'm drawing back towards the form. So each one of these points is coming out, down, and back. So it's wrapping around and heading back into the form. Now what this tells me is if I draw a line straight down from my original points, that intersection point is going to be where the bottom of that curve is. Right? So it creates kind of like this rectangular box. I know that dropping down the second point where it hits that wraparound line, right there is going to be the bottom of that cut. Same with this one. I drop down my vertical. That intersection point is the bottom of that curved line. At this apex here on this curve, there's nowhere to go back to, so that just comes straight down. And on this last one, it's just a very short cut in. Now what I've got here, I'll kind of erase these wraparound marks are just to find those intersection points. What I've made is I've made this string of dots that as I go from one point through the next to the next, that then this proceeds to give me that bottom curve. And I know that that's in proper perspective because each one of these dots wraps around and that pinpoint location tells me where that bottom curve is. And then it's just a matter of drawing through those dots to create that bottom line. The last part of this process is knowing what to remove, so I'm coming through with my eraser. I'm getting rid of I'll refer to these wraparound marks as, you could say they're like scaffolding, because they're put there to create the curve and then they're removed afterwards. So this started as a rectangular extension, and just by putting that curve along that top plane, I can then locate the bottom curve of that plane. And by doing the erasure and the removal, it leaves me with this curved extension.